Okay, everybody, let's take it from the top.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Hi-ho, true believers, and welcome back to D Plus Us, the show about all things Disney. I'm one of your hosts, Griffin Tadell, Griffy D. Patton. With me, as always, the wonderful, the amazing, the marvelous Mr. Mitch George. How are you doing today?
It turns out that the fourth time is the charm.
I guess this is technically the fourth movie.
One of them didn't release. That doesn't count.
I mean, yeah, but my thing is I would say that this is the third time around, but...
There were two movies that first time.
Yeah, but they count those as one. It's
No,
not
they're.
technically.
I sat down and watched all three back to back. No normal rational human being is going to do that.
That was not asked of you. Nobody asked you to do that.
I was hurt. I needed something to hurt me better, hurt me more. I needed to hurt more on the inside than I did on the outside.
I just want everyone to know. I just want it on the record for my own safety that I did not ask Mitch to watch Fan4Stick. I would not do that to anybody. This psycho chose to do this on his own.
Rise of the Silver Surfer isn't as egregious, but we're not here to talk about. I mean, we'll probably talk about those.
No, that movie is as egregious. That movie is bad.
Well, no, Rise compared to Fan4Stick.
Oh yeah, nothing as bad as Fan4Stick.
No, and we'll probably talk about those three interspersed with our conversation, spoiler filled. I'm just going to say spoiler warning off the top. There isn't much to talk about here that isn't a spoiler for Fantastic Four First Steps.
Yeah, that is this movie we're talking about today, of course, directed by the fantastic, wonderful, the amazing Matt Shakman.
When I told Carmen leaving the theater what he had written and directed previously, she was glad that he took this project on.
Yeah, Shakman being the main director on WandaVision, and I gotta shout out his episodes of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters. Just because I still gotta finish that show.
I gotta finish it. It was I really enjoyed the idea of Kurt and Wyatt Russell playing the same character in different time periods.
Yeah, it's really fun.
It's a really fun
shout
show.
out that this man has only ever directed one other movie. That movie being Cut Bank in 2014.
I feel like he's about to get very busy.
This guy's about to get very busy though, especially with the Marvel. Like this guy's got plenty coming for the future of Marvel. As he should, frankly, because he's made two incredible products now with Marvel. Screenplay.
Just kind of crazy that someone that directed 43 episodes of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia just directed one of my favorite movies of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny how much. Actually, it is hilarious how much Always Sunny comes up when it comes to Marvel. With the people that work on it.
We need to at some point do a fan cast of what character we would want the Sunny gang to play in the MCU, because I think that would be really fun. Short or something, because I think we get a lot of fun with that.
It has to be all villains.
I was thinking like Wizard. I mean, a lot of the villains we talked about in this movie. Wizard would be a good one. Puppet Master? No, that wouldn't really work.
Can you imagine Danny DeVito as Mole Man?
Puppet Master? Oh, that works too. No, we got the perfect Mole Man casting.
We'll get into my Puppet Master bullshit later, because we get a reference for him in this movie, and I love it. But, quickly, a couple more things here. Screenplay by Josh Friedman, Eric Pearson, Jeff Kaplan, and Ian Springer. A couple of those for you. Josh Friedman. Previous works include Terminator, Dark Fate, unfortunately Avatar: The Way of Water, and awesomely, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. By the way, fuck this movie for making me have to watch an Avatar 4 trailer. Or Avatar 3
Did it do the thing in your theater too where the lights dimmed and the last thing you saw before the movie actually started was the Avatar trailer?
Yes, but they also did that for the Odyssey trailer when that first came out.
They did do that on the last thing that I went to the theaters to see that I'm forgetting the name of.
And
Superman?
Eric Pearson,
it was Superman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Eric Pearson, I also want to shout out. Eric Pearson has written on a ton of Marvel stuff, including Thunderbolts, Black Widow, Thor Ragnarok, Agent Carter, the TV series even. Also was a writer on Transformers 1, which is
one of the better Transformer films.
What might I argue, one of the best Transformer films?
I would say the most watchable of any of the Michael Bay Transformer films.
But this guy has been on Marvel since 2011. The first thing he actually wrote with Marvel was the one shot, The Consultant.
The Agent Carter one shot.
Yeah, or what's the? No, The Consultant.
No,
was,
the Agent Carter one was
Hunt
after that. The Consultant was the one on.
Phil Coulson.
No, I know, but it was Thor, or no,
Yeah,
Captain
so-
America, I think.
Well, so it's him. It's his in between Iron Man 2 and sorry, it's him
Thor.
and Thor, and it's him being like, "Oh, I know exactly who to call to annoy Thaddeus Ross." And
No,
he calls
there
Thaddeus-
was a.
That's
Yeah,
what-
no. So there was the Consultant one, but then there was also a funny thing happened on the way to Thor's hammer.
Yeah, those came out in the same year.
Yeah,
So-
but different movies, right?
The one shots.
Because weren't those tied to the DVD releases of some of the films back
Yeah,
then?
The Consultant was on the Thor Blu-ray, and then I think there were then the funny thing happened with Thor Hammer was on Captain America.
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, this movie went through a lot of writers. Of course, starring Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Ebba Moss-Bachrach, Joseph Quinn, Julia Garner, and a whole lot more.
Ralph Ineson shout out as Galactus. That's one we cannot skip over because, goddamn.
Official release date of July 25th, 2025, just a few days ago, with a runtime of 114 minutes, a budget of $200 million, and a box office of still ongoing because this movie just came out, but it has already made money.
Opening
It's
weekend.
Opening weekend crossed $216.7 million worldwide. The 37th film in the MCU, except that this isn't really in the MCU, because this is on Earth 828. And that's where I want to
Jack and Stan would have loved this movie.
Jack and
Before we
Stan
get
in this
anywhere
movie.
else, like, I love that this is a love letter to the art style of Jack Kirby from the 60s, but just like, there's a moment in this movie that we'll talk about where I teared up in the theater because all I could think was that Jack and Stan would have loved to have seen this movie.
This movie was, like, I normally I have you go first, but I gotta start this one because I think this movie was exactly what I wanted for Fantastic Four. I have been noodling with a thought, and I don't know how best to talk about it on our show, whether it is like we dedicate an episode to it or if I just go full video essay with this thing. But for me, one of the biggest issues I've had with the MCU from the very, very beginning, before we even called it the MCU, was that the base of all of this was Iron Man.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to what Marvel is, why I love Marvel, not MCU, Marvel, Fantastic Four is at the base of that. Because Fantastic Four is at the base of everything. There is a hope, there is a familial aspect, there is a we are going to believe in others that you get from the Fantastic Four in a very similar way you get from Superman and we just got from the DC side of things. And this movie finally felt like we were putting those back in the roots of these films. I don't think there has been a film in the MCU that has felt that until this movie. Not in this way.
Yeah, I would say like the moniker of Marvel's first family, I think rings very true here, where this is the first time that I can think of that the family aspect of any Marvel production has come through as strong as it did in this film. Like, there are aspects of it in other places, Wanda with her kids and some other smaller stories like that, but nothing felt like this much of a family dynamic prior to this 38th project or 38th film at least in the MCU. 37. I was close.
Hey, I did the same thing a second ago. But yeah, I really love it because you have that, and then also we have a movie, and I knew part of it is because it's Galactus, but we don't kill our villain,
No.
and we have like that has been a massive issue for the MCU, like they're constantly killing off their most powerful asset for future projects, which is villains coming back.
Well, and what's
But
interesting
this
about
is, like, it
Galactus,
goes
there's
right-
one Galactus in the multiverse right? He is a multiversal being, so like he could pop up in 616. He could pop up in 828, 62, or what was the other? I think 628 was the multiverse with the Captain Carters and all that. What's the name of the thing?
You're asking me to remember a movie I actively hate. So
That is also true. What's the name of the group? The Illuminati.
The Illuminati?
That's the word. The Illuminati. I think that was 628. So like he could pop up anywhere in any story and be just as menacing as he was here. And that's why I really wanted to shout out Ralph Ineson, because I think his portrayal here is exactly what you want Galactus to be. You don't need Galactus to be some big smoke cloud. You need Galactus to have that presence and have that primal hunger. And honestly, Franklin being his MacGuffin, again, spoilers, we said that off the top, makes a lot of sense here. And I'm really glad we're exploring a different side to the Fantastic Four that we haven't yet seen presented in live action.
yeah, this is a side I am incredibly familiar with as someone who is like fervorously read Fantastic Four comics for their entire existence. Like I am genuinely surrounded right now by Fantastic Four comics, because that's just what we were talking about before the show. Like I have the new run, I have the recent, kind of recent. I think this was 2022, but still, this artwork is so good.
I mean, not recently, within the last couple of years, I picked up my first book, which was Fantastic Four. What was the book that you recommended to me that was like Spider-Man through the years, where he like aged through the comic?
Oh, it was because there was a Fantastic Four one too.
Yeah, and I read that, and it was very good.
Life Story.
Life Story. Yeah, that
Fantastic
it wasn't
Four
as good as the
was free.
Spider-Man one. It wasn't as good as Spider-Man, but it was still very good. But we talked about this in the last episode. If you want to go and listen to us talk about the 2005 Fantastic Four film on YouTube or your podcast service of choice. But my biggest thing with Reed is that it's never felt like he was this overly analytical mind that knew what needed to be done, but still did what was in the best interest of him and his family and those closest to him and those he cared about, which we see in spades in this film. And thank God that Pop Culture Daddy came in to save us all and deliver a Reed Richards that feels real and feels authentic to the comic and authentic to the story that they're trying to tell with the character, both here and in the wider MCU.
I need Pedro Pascal to stop being put in character situations where he's forced to choose between saving the world or potentially giving up a powerful child. It just
Not even a powerful
happening.
child, a powerful small being, because it started with Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah, like it just keeps happening. This man is typecast now, and we love it.
Very much so. But no, honestly, and like I said this to you last week when we were talking about Fantastic Four, of Reed doesn't feel like that, genius, most like the brilliant mind that everyone turns to and everyone trusts, and we get that so deeply here. I think this was really the first time that Reed has felt. And there were a couple of quotes that were really, really good that I wanted to just verbatim go through, because
before you go into it, because this
yeah.
tees you up for one of them, is what I really love about Reed. Is just like Reed is autistic. Like that is a canonical fact of Reed Richards. I know this is the internet, and I know there's people are going to be like, well, and I'm like, no, this is canonical, and you see that in here, and you got that representation so well for anyone who has any sort of diagnosis like autism. It's just the example I'm using here because of the movie. The scene was one of the quotes that you told me you wanted to talk about.
Both quotes, I think, lean into what you're saying here.
Yeah.
But
well, the one that really hit me, that was incredibly relatable, is the moment of him talking to Franklin.
And I hate going back to this, but as a new parent, this movie is both incredibly relatable and incredibly difficult to watch at times. When he has this quote, which I'm going to say verbatim, I don't want you to be like me. There's something wrong with me, always has been. The more I look at you, the less I know. And the less I know, the more scared I am. So you know what? I'm not going to look anymore. I'm going to let you tell me who you are. And that just like, oh my God.
So much of this movie, I think, comes down to those little moments. I'm not without negatives on this movie. I do think there's some parts of this movie I really don't like. But the moments it does, where it gives you a chance to sit down with that feeling of, that scene, the fight, that massive knockout fight with Susan, or Sue's whole speech to the crowd outside of the Baxter Building. Like, those are the moments that are really powerful. What I love about Fantastic Four, again, of something I wish we saw in the MCU that we just don't. Fighting is the last resort.
Although, to be fair, she did gaslight that entire audience into building a whole bunch of interdimensional portals instead of giving up one kid.
Yeah, because they were never going to give up the kid.
They weren't, but they still ended up using him as bait. So, like,
and we'll get to that.
It could have been handled differently.
And I'm going to keep using the word fantastic, folks. That's just what I use to describe things that I really love. I've been doing that for years. This is in no way, shape, or form related to Fantastic Four, and it's been driving me crazy for the last...
The first thing I messaged you when I got out of the movie was that was fantastic. And that was intentional, and because I'm, full of really bad puns. So, you have standards. I do not.
Oh, I have no standards. It's just that this has been driving me crazy. But yeah, those moments, I think, are the moments that this works. Of fighting is a last resort. Fighting is not what we are aiming to do. And it's something we just don't see with Marvel. Even Thunderbolts, which I love that film. They're always fighting because they need to be fighting. That is the story they're telling there. And again, it's at the core of those stories. And if you look back at the entirety of the MCU, fighting is in the core of those stories. That's not who the Fantastic Four are. The Fantastic Four are using their brains to solve issues, and then when they have to use their fists, they do. One of my favorite bits that they keep going back to in this movie is how often Rita's like, "No, we are not going out there to punch something." And like they have the line in the ship, right, where if it is actually a giant dude in a spaceship, you can punch him.
And they're so excited. Like,
so excited.
Again,
my theater was dying in that.
Oh, mine too.
And we saw it at a smaller smile theater. On Ben Grimm.
And that was the other thing here. Like, I mean, we didn't get any of it in Van Forstick. I think we can kind of largely ignore that movie as being a terrible portrayal of any of these characters. So back to the 2005, 2007 films, there's a lot of jabs back and forth between Johnny and Ben in that film. And I do enjoy the rapport between Chris Evans and Michael Chiklis. It feels so much more relatable here. Like in those movies, they were doing it to tell jokes, and here they're doing it because they're just trying to have a good time. And Ben's kind of leading them on, and it's so good.
I think what it comes down to is I like it in those movies, in the 2005 movie. But then that's all he does.
Yeah.
Here, they have those moments, but then they also have those moments of caring for each other. Again, a hilarious scene is them in the bedroom. When they're like hiding in one of their bedrooms while Sue and Reed fight. And they're like both trying to get the other person to go check on them. And it's a hilarious moment because they're...
And then Sue's just there.
Brother shit. Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that one of the best things they did with this is the casting of the family. Because the chemistry is just off the charts.
It's undeniable.
They nailed it so well.
I know historically Johnny Storm has been portrayed as this womanizing playboy type figure in film and comics and other mixed media. I like that they scaled back on that to an extent. Like, he was still smitten with the sexy alien lady, but which got a ton of laughs in my theater. At the same time, that behavior is so core to the character that him being a genius level linguistic analyzer by the end of this film felt like a bit of a stretch. But to be fair, like, these four characters are explorers and scientists first and heroes second, which I think, to your point that you made in our last episode, is why this film felt so genuine compared to other portrayals of these characters.
See, I love the linguist side of it. I think it led to everybody having their own individual moments. And I think it's something you have to forget that Johnny's a genius.
Yeah.
Like, Johnny has always been a genius. He's just also the playboy of the Fantastic Four and gets bored very easily. And
I
so
think
he
they
goes
could
off
have
and
done
does
more
other
to set up that aspect of Johnny in this film. But again, they
Well, I
didn't
think
spend
they-
a lot
I
of
think they
time on
could've done more to set up
backstory.
everyone.
They spent the first 5 minutes just saying like, here's a recap of everything that's happened over the last
I mean,
4
that
years.
is one of
Also,
my big issues with this movie is that, like, half of this movie is a montage.
yeah.
Like, so much of this movie is a montage to get you to those scenes that they know you like, and I think that is a massive point to get this movie. Those montages themselves are very fun to watch, and stylistically they're gorgeous, but it's still the pacing of this movie is just rough. Like, this movie moves way too fast. It does not let you sit in most of its moments.
No. Well,
You immediately get pulled into another montage. Like,
I would disagree there to some extent. I do think that the montages being there give us more. Like, we've seen through 2 origin stories of these characters that spending time there takes away from the rest of the storytelling element. So I do think they gave us more time for those character moments by having the montages. But I will agree with you that it did feel like you were almost watching a different movie at times.
Like, I feel like at most you can have 3. This movie had like 8.
Including a post-credit scene.
And even then, that's not... Oh, I guess technically the TV one is a...
Yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Like, technically.
They also kind of overused the number 4, which I get it. It's the Fantastic Four, but
I like the bit's funny.
But they didn't have to do it at the end. Like, they're already setting the stakes. Like, I get it. They want Franklin to be a little older in the Doomsday Saga, which makes sense given
Yeah, you want a child
his ability.
actor, not
How they're going to be directly related to Secret Wars and Battle World
Also,
and all
just,
that.
logistically, you want a child actor, not a baby.
Yeah, the CG baby was a little off-putting at times.
Yeah, there was really only... For me, it was really only when, like, the baby was floating in Galactus's hand that I was like, okay, this looks weird. But,
Well, there was that also, but the baby in space stuff was also kind of weird because, like, this child was born as large as my son now, 8 months old, which was weird.
I mean, that's movie BS. Like,
No, I know. It
always
just
do that.
it's supposed to be that cute right away.
My brain rationalized it by saying, because we have that moment, right, of, like, the surfer, which, man, the fact that we haven't even yet talked about how good Julia Garner is in this.
Yeah.
The surfer, like, has that moment, right, where she, like, sticks her hand inside of Sue. So my brain just rationalized it as, like, okay, the Power Cosmic did some shit that forced her into labor. And aged up the baby a little bit.
Well, it was Galactus that forced the labor, right? When he, like, did his cosmic stare thing.
Well, he just scanned them. He didn't, like, cause anything.
No. When they're conversing with Galactus, he does the thing where he has the glowing eyes, and then he gets rid of the glowing eyes and just has, like, the purple eyes. And there was some connection between him and Sue that kickstarted her labor.
I didn't think her labor got kickstarted until... Well, no, because, yeah, she gets to go...
No, because she's in labor when they're trying to get back to the ship.
I guess the whole thing of it is Power Cosmic bullshit.
Yeah, exactly. Timey-wimey cosmic BS.
Having, like, Reed actually write out Power Cosmic was great. Because, like, the Power Cosmic is so dumb. I love it so much because it's so dumb.
It's so dumb, but it's something that he needs to care about because, you know, his kids got it. His kids got the ick. Mm-hmm. No, I think what was also, like, I love that they went to space. Like you and I have talked about a number of times
how
now.
space looked, too. Like,
They're
this was a
explorers.
sci-fi movie.
They explored. They had already built their friggin' fast FTL engine sitting up there in space ready to go. Reed was reluctant to even go back to space.
Just in general, by the way, I love that we've all just decided that an FTL engine is called that. Because it's the most uncreative naming probably ever.
Probably, but we also got a lot of cinematography and visual design very reminiscent of things like 2001: A Space Odyssey, like Interstellar, and I love their use of like timey-wimey comic booky bullshit. Like, you cannot get that close to a black hole and not suffer some ill effects. Like, they shouldn't have been coming back minutes after the launch or whatever, months or whatever it was after the launch. Like, it should have been to the scale of years, but that's, again.
I loved all of that. Like, I think it looks gorgeous. Everything with the ship is so cool. The shot of Sue floating in the spaceship with the black hole outside the window is one of my favorite shots in the entire movie. And the fact that we got to see the surfer actually surf, I think, is
that was cool.
incredible.
The lava surfing was pretty dope.
Like the lava surfing on that planet, but then also her surfing on the
black hole.
Not just the black
debris.
hole, but in their hyperspace transition, she is.
Oh yeah, when they're in light speed, which isn't quite light
speed.
She's
surfing on the bending light, and they did it so good. One of my many issues with Rise of the Silver Surfer is that the surfer is very stiff in that movie. And this
the problem I have with it in that movie is you have two different actors, right? You have Doug Jones doing the physical portrayal of the Silver Surfer, and you have Fishburne as the voice, which never you can ADR to hell, but it's not gonna, when you're replacing an entire character, it's going to be tough to make it seem believable, and it's going to feel stiff.
Yeah. I think overall, genuinely, I think this movie's fantastic, but
stop saying it.
I'm not going to. Going with the retrofuturism vibe is so fun for this. And I think it leads into that Jack Kirby love letter that we keep talking about with this movie.
Yeah.
Because the notes of loving Jack Kirby are everywhere in this movie. Obviously, they have it at the very end. They have the quote from Jack Kirby and the reveal that, hey, this Earth being 828 is named after him because his birthday was 828. Funnily enough,
fun fact, that is one day before my sister's birthday.
Love it. We have that. There's also a couple other nods. Timely Comics shows up in this.
That was so cool. I was the only one that
very much look like Jack and Steve.
Stan.
Jack and Stan. I hate myself.
Different. Yeah, Steve would have been a couple weeks ago. That would I popped off for that, and so setting the context, we saw this in a smaller theater because I didn't want to go to a theater with a bunch of children because I'm too old for that these days. So we went to a 19 plus theater, smaller theater, only 100, 150 seats. So I popped off as hell when I saw Timely Comic. I was the only person in my theater to do so it felt kind of weird.
See, I went to Disney Springs where there are people cosplaying the Fantastic Four because they love this franchise so much.
But did you get a popcorn bucket?
No, I was so close to getting the Herbie Sipper though.
I did. The Herbie one seemed like the coolest one, but that wasn't available in Canada. We don't have.
The problem is that the Herbie Sipper was $70, and I was not spending that.
Yes, you were. You've spent $70 on less.
Look, bad timing here. I genuinely spent that.
How many Keyblades are in the background of your shot?
3.
Yeah.
Also that morning I had just gotten my car fixed. So I was,
we just replaced a washing machine. I feel you. I didn't end up with a Galactus. One, because it's entirely impractical, but also two, because being an adult sucks.
Oh yeah. But those nods to Jack Kirby, when I mentioned, we have that. The settings of this, though, being fairly 1960s retrofuturistic, is very much a direct note to those early Fantastic Four comics. That very much being how New York looked when Jack Kirby grew up. I think seeing it especially with Yancey Street in particular. Yancey Street being incredibly important for the Fantastic Four and for Marvel just in general. And seeing it here with this new character they've added to the film, Rachel Rosman. Which my first thought when I saw her was, wait a minute. You're not Alicia Masters. Who the hell are you? And then my second thought was, wait a minute, that's the voice of that one duck girl from What If.
Howard the Duck's mixed race daughter.
Yep.
Mixed species, I guess.
Which really puts down this character, but I'm trying to bring up her name.
There was a red carpet interview with I want to get Natasha something. I can't remember actually. Natasha Lyonne. On the red carpet of this movie, like, kind of great that you're getting to play multiple characters in the MCU, huh? And she's like, what are you talking about? Like that animated thing? And she's like, what animated? Oh, right. Yeah, that's totally forgetting she's already in a Marvel thing.
I mean, to be fair, she's in like one episode. Or we know two.
I mean, it's also the second time that Ebon Moss-Bachrach's been in the MCU.
True. But the one I was getting to with Rachel Rosman, and I know you're going for something, but I want to jump back real quick.
Yeah, go to your thing first.
Rachel Rosman, very likely, this is not confirmed, but very likely named after the wife of Jack Kirby.
Oh, that's a nice touch.
Who her nickname was Ross. Was very surprised though that it wasn't Alicia, frankly. Just because that is something like where we're at with Fantastic Four, where it's like, at least in comics wise, the thing is married to Alicia. That is something that's one of those things that now that it has happened, it will probably never change.
It is a what do they call it in Spider-Verse? Something event. Anchor. Well, I mean, you got anchor being, but there's like
Spider-Verse. Canon event.
Canon event. Yeah. So like that is a canon event for Ben Grimm's The Thing in this world and many other worlds. So maybe this is something where if it doesn't end up going that route is what,
I mean, honestly, I don't think I don't think that or any really of like kind of the little side bits of the world here get addressed ever.
Oh God, no.
Just because of where this movie's coming out and it's leading into Doomsday and Secret Wars and this inevitable
potential sequel to the film, which I wanted to ask you about that. There are rumors that they've added an extra film to the slate in a few years, and the rumor is that they want it to be a fast track sequel to this film, just based on critical reception and early screenings and stuff like that. I worry that at the end of Secret Wars, they're not going to end up back in 828.
Oh, they're not going to. It's going to be one universe.
Well, and that I worry because I mean we had something work really well. Like I'm thinking back to Captain America, right? Captain America: First Avenger is a period piece. It's a war film, takes place during World War II, and its sequel takes place in modern day, and is a very different film, with a very different vibe that really, really worked. It's still for me a top 5 MCU film, Captain America: The Winter Soldier. I do worry that if they lose the neo-futurist vibes that we got from the film, that maybe it won't land as hard in a potential sequel. So I'm curious to see how these characters are portrayed in the Avengers films and where we end up with.
Well, first off, mark my words, the Russo brothers are going to fuck over one of these characters. The Russo brothers.
It's probably going to be Sue. They don't like female characters. I think it's going to be Sue because Vanessa Kirby is also incredibly pregnant with these films.
True.
And we saw what they did with ScarJo.
Just in general, we saw this with the Russo brothers and the Guardians. The Russo brothers don't know how to handle the characters who weren't originally theirs. Like, I like a lot of what they've done, but I dislike a lot of it as well.
I fully expect Doomsday to be a Doom film. I don't expect it to focus, like, Doom is going to be the central focus of that film because for them, what's interesting is taking a familiar face like RDJ and completely reinventing him as a completely different character that they are working on from the ground up in this universe.
Yeah, I don't see them doing it. I think they try to take on too much with it, but I think that's also just the Russo brothers.
I mean, that's just Marvel films in general, especially the team up films.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that's also like if you look at all the other stuff the Russo brothers have been making outside of Marvel, like they constantly try to do too much in a single movie.
Oh, do I want to buy the vinyl album of this soundtrack?
Yes, because Michael Giacchino did this soundtrack, and this
soundtrack
he did. Slaps. The soundtrack is a top tier, one of the best soundtracks we've ever gotten out of Marvel. The moments when the theme hits, like at the end of that first like intro montage where they show the logo, and then like when it subtly comes in when Sue like
at the end when they're in the car.
No, I'm talking way before that, at the beginning of the film, when like it starts subtly coming in when Sue makes her stomach invisible so that they can see Franklin.
That was
It's like,
gross. I'm sorry.
I loved it just because of
It was just
Look.
gross.
this incredibly intimate scene with an incredible score underneath it. And then one of the funniest jokes in the movie immediately following it up.
Yeah.
I'm not disagreeing that it was gross. But also, when you have someone who can turn invisible and another dude who can stretch any part of his body, the line for gross goes out the window.
That's also pretty true.
Talking about a bunch of other things in this movie, Herbie is a standout for me. Herbie's fantastic. I love this.
Reminded me of Wally.
I saw someone being like, they had their Wally type character in this with Herbie. And I do think he is like Wally, but also like Herbie has been around for so long, put some goddamn respect on his name.
No, I know. I think what a lot of people are going to end up doing, because these characters have been around as long as they have, is compare more modern interpretations or modern films or storytelling tropes that were influenced by the Fantastic Four originally, that people felt did it quote unquote better. I fully expect to see a lot of side by sides of like, here's how the Incredibles did this so much better than Fantastic Four
That is one of the
First
things I've been
Steps.
seeing
All
a
of
lot
this stuff.
of from people who didn't love this movie. Of, hey, this feels like it's an homage to all these other different films, which is not, in my opinion, not the best argument, because those films are an homage to the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
The one I see brought up the most is The Incredibles.
Which I think it's hard not to make that comparison, given they're both Disney films, and other
family
than
superhero.
Speedster instead of Fire Guy, they're the exact same power set.
Yeah. Plus, literally, it is family of 4 superhero film.
But yeah, that too. Well, technically 5 by the end of it, sort of.
By the end of both
Kinda.
of them.
God damn it. You're right.
And I'm like, I get it, I understand it, and like I said, I do think this movie has issues. The pacing is rough. The pacing really is the main issue I have with this film. But it is rough enough that it brings it down for me.
There are a lot of aspects of the lead up to and including the Galactus fight that I didn't like. I do like the idea that in this utopia, the Fantastic Four have unified the entire Foundation.
With the exception of Latveria.
Well, yeah, because Doom, right?
I
And it's
love
going to
that-
be
I
their,
love the
like,
evolution.
RDJ's Doom is their Doom. And my expectation with the way that post-credit scene was sort of set up was maybe he was disfigured, Franklin fixes him, and then
I have a
he
theory
needs...
with that, but we'll leave
I-
theorizing for the end.
Okay, yeah, I don't think we're quite there yet. But the one thing that really bugged me is that we get this moment where Johnny is ready to sacrifice himself for his family.
Twice. We get that
What was the
moment
first
twice.
time?
When he, after the first moment that he talks with Shalabal, she tries to get her to take him, and she tells him it's not his sacrifice.
Oh yeah, take me instead. There's that. That didn't feel as sacrificial, I guess, than the latter.
Well,
Which
the fact that this guy's ready to give it up at a moment's notice, because
yeah, and that
he's the one
meant
that's
a
the least
lot. But
honest.
actually seeing those consequences would have meant a lot more.
I don't think you could do it that early, and I think that they knew that. The death of Johnny Storm, or the loss of Johnny Storm in this case, would have been in this case, is an incredibly pivotal moment in these stories.
Yeah.
It leads to one of my favorite runs with the Fantastic Four, which is them becoming the Future Foundation, and them giving Johnny's spot on the team, in the family, to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
I don't think that that's a storyline that you want to do unless you can have those other characters in it. Unless, particularly for Franklin. Because
Yes.
Franklin's character growth and a lot of who Franklin is now in modern comics is because of that story.
I also do think that by the end of Secret Wars, we also have Valyria.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised we honestly didn't end up with both of them.
I'm not. I think one MacGuffin is enough to deal with leading into those films, and then we can do the whole
Well,
and
let
Dune
me
forces
rephrase.
a way to have a
With
child
this-
with Sue and all that.
With this story, it makes sense. In the lead
Yeah.
up to this, I was surprised we aren't doing both kids.
Yeah. So back to Johnny. Like I can see the sacrifice just being something that bridges into whatever the subsequent appearance of Galactus is, with Johnny as the Herald. Like I would love to see that story kind of be interwoven into whatever potential sequel there might have been to this film. But I understand you have two tentpole Avengers films between this and that at minimum. And you want to be able to use the full cast. So it is what it is. But it did feel kind of out, not even out of place, because like I do feel like Shella Ball, we understood why she did what she did towards the end there, but at the same time, it did feel a little like, well, we've seen Galactus torture her and has full control over her and her body and the board. So like he could have stopped her with a look and he didn't. So for me, it was just a bit of suspension of disbelief in that moment. It felt a little unearned or unbelievable. And Johnny sacrificing himself would have really, nailed it for me personally. But again, that's just a personal
I
take.
think
Again,
that
I don't know
it
what
was
the larger story is going to look like for these characters going
I think it
forward.
was a solid ending for Shella Ball's storyline. Which Shella Ball's storyline is ending in this movie.
1,000%.
Which is why she has the moment. And I think it's tied with Johnny because frankly she wouldn't have that moment without Johnny. So for that reason, I like it. I do think that they should have set it up a little better, though. I do agree with that. I think that falls into a lot of the issues of this movie, of it just never has the time to set itself up. I'm very interested to see what happens with Johnny, especially when we get into Doomsday. Are we going to have a Doom that utterly hates the Fantastic Four and turns Johnny into the sun of his world, which is what happens in Secret Wars?
Yep.
Like, I'm curious to see like what happens to that character. I do think, though, despite that, like Joseph Quinn of any of the castings was my big question mark going into this movie, and I think he might be my favorite iteration of Johnny Storm. Like full stop. I think they nailed him.
I really like Johnny. Again, I'm just going to go back to it. Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I really like the portrayal of the Fantastic Four in that show, and particularly Johnny and Ben and their rapport and the whole thing. But again, they were cameo characters. They weren't part of the core cast. So I would say here, honestly, my biggest question mark was Reed, because there hasn't been an iteration of Reed in live action that they've nailed. And the writers and Pedro, they nailed it this time. And I'm really glad to have seen it.
Yeah, I never questioned Pedro and Pedro being.
I didn't question Pedro so much as I questioned the ability to write Reed well in live action.
Oh, see, I was never questioning that because even if it was written shit, Pedro Pascal knows how to make that better. He is that level of actor that when he is the kind of actor that can give him bad stuff, and at the very least makes it entertaining.
Fair.
Gladiator 2 exists.
I mean, so does The Last of Us Season 2.
Yeah, well...
I refuse to finish that. I refuse.
Well, to your credit there, he's not exactly much of it.
No, you're not wrong.
Bringing it back. We've talked about a lot of this. Yeah, the teleportation system was another one where I was like, okay, weird, but I kind of like it.
Reed does weird shit. Like they set up an entire prison inside the negative zone at one. Like him doing something like this seems kind of tame, to be honest.
I honestly think that these teleporters will lead to multiversal travel and potentially the negative zone.
I do expect that these teleporters have something to do with their ability to traverse into multiple or into the 616 and potentially, cause these incursions. It's going to lead to the heat death of all universes.
But again, when it comes to like that point that I was making at the beginning, right, where it's like fighting at the last resort, I do love that their solution for this problem was quite literally to build bridges. And there's something incredible, especially right now, and maybe it's just because the world's fucked, of seeing the entire world get behind this and everybody work together, and you have like, the world coming together to just give these resources with no strings attached to save the world, which would never happen. You have everyone like willingly turning off their electricity at 8 p.m. to conserve power for this, and everyone is doing their part in helping each other. And it is so fun to see that in this world, and like, it is again adding into that hope element with this.
Yeah, and I think as well, everything that we set up here with Galactus and his need for Franklin, while it's not delved into here, those of us who are privy to the comics understand that Franklin's mutation is the ability to essentially create new universes. Right.
It's not even just
So he was a
it's just-
potential unlimited power for Galactus.
He is. There's been this tweet going around that has had me just dying, where it's like people getting upset. Where it was like, here's a list of all like the incredibly powerful people in the MCU. You have like,
Oh yeah, I
Wanda
saw this.
and whatnot, and it's like this baby could beat all of them, and like yeah.
I mean,
could.
I think seeing Dark
disagree with
Phoenix
the
go up
tweet.
against Franklin Richards would
Franklin
be an
wins.
interesting one. I know he does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that would be interesting. I
Yeah.
also just wonder,
What's hilarious
like,
also is that Franklin has a massive crush on Wanda, and I think that's kind of hilarious.
honestly, I think that's kind of where they're going with this, where I do expect that. I mean, my, tinfoil hat theory is that Doom needs Wanda because of her ability to traverse the multiverse to create Battle World, and they're going to use her in place of Molecule Man, but he needs Franklin to bring her back.
I could see it. I think Franklin is going to be a part of all of this.
I do as well. I do think that once we get to Battle World, presumably in Secret Wars, and we have probably adolescent or teenage versions of both Franklin and Valeria through timey-wimey multiversal bullshit, that the end of it, similar to the 2015 Secret Wars comic, is Wanda and Franklin putting the universe back together.
I could see it. I don't think Wanda's a part of it, though. I think Wanda's done.
I think Wanda's a huge part of it. Like, you can't introduce another unless Franklin is the only MacGuffin, which I could see that being the case. I think you need something there that, like, at least with the way that they've set up Franklin now, I know he's powerful enough to do all of these things, but he might not be powerful to do those things as a 4-year-old, right? So I can see Wanda's, bendy, timey bullshit.
Well, also,
being that MacGuffin.
We don't know how old he's going to be by the end of Doomsday.
We also don't know if Wanda's actually dead.
They've been pretty definitive on it.
Have they, though?
Yeah, they straight up confirmed that shit.
Did we see a body?
Yes. Not in MCU, but in they confirmed it in comics.
Oh yeah.
They specifically referenced the movie universe of having a Wanda who is very dead.
I'll believe it when I see it in film.
Look, Marvel would not let that print unless it was accurate. They are real particular on that. But I do think Franklin comes up with things. 2 other things we want to talk about before we start really going into full theory mode. Again, when it comes to the casting of this, I think the thing I love the most is never for 1 second throughout all of this did I doubt the love they have for each other. I think like I said, one of the best scenes in this is the fight between Sue and Reed over plans.
Which one?
And whatnot. But I mean both of them because they're kind of back to back.
That one moment where she's like, "You already know what we have to do." It's like, no, there is another way. Like he's had the answer probably at this point for days, but doesn't want to admit to it. And he has that great quote, which I'm going to read verbatim because you gave me the opportunity to do it for the first one, as long as my phone doesn't die. I don't dream, I don't wonder. I invite the worst possible things into my head to figure out how to hurt them before they hurt anyone else.
See, that's not even that's a great quote. It's not the quote that I love from that. The quote is one part I love is when she is like, "Sometimes you being you hurts me," and his response to it is, "I wish it didn't."
Yeah.
It's one of those really real moments for me in this film that really is what makes it. But even then, I don't doubt for a second how much these two characters love each other. And how much of this family loves each other. And I think that is so core to the Fantastic Four. It's why I love this movie so much as it is.
Yeah. And it's why I really hope in subsequent appearances of these characters in this iteration of this family, there are always going to be cracks, but I don't want to see that break. Like it's a trope to any family drama that there's a falling out and folks do their own thing. And like we saw that with The Incredibles 2, right? We saw Elastigirl get her, moment in the spotlight, well deserved, but it affected things with their family dynamic, and it was just there was something odd about it, and I hope we don't see anything similar here, where like they have enough that they could deal with outside of their family drama, like Annihilus and other crazy big bad threats.
I think if we do see stuff like it, I think it's going to be in like the Fantastic Four does this in their comics as well, and I think it works very well. It's rather than things get breaked off. They separate to deal with their own personal things, but then come back together later on. Like Johnny has this incredibly awesome relationship with Peter Parker.
I don't think we'll see that explored at all.
I'm using the comics stuff.
Okay.
Like they have their moments, they do their things, and then Johnny comes back and does stuff with the Four. Sue has been a active Avengers member, and then comes back and still does stuff with the Fantastic Four. The Illuminati, even when everything goes to shit before Secret Wars in the comics, at the very end of it, Rhea goes back to be with the Fantastic Four. So, it happens. The only person who doesn't go off and does their own thing a ton is Ben. But even then, that dude's been an Avengers member. That dude does stuff with the Hulk. That guy, I don't think it will ever happen in live action, but God, I hope it does. I would love to see Superhero Poker Night.
Superhero Poker Night would make a great post-credit scene to any of these films, but also, we got the moment. Say the thing, Ben. You gotta say the thing.
Dude,
he doesn't want to say the thing.
So damn hard for that.
He had to say it. It's goddamn clever.
And that's such a great so I've seen this movie twice.
Of course you have.
Both times. Well, I wanted to really get it in my head just in case we did a plot recap, which we're not going to.
I was texting you Thursday afternoon, should I bail on work to see this in a proper IMAX theater? And your response was hell yes. And then I heard there's only like 6 minutes of IMAX footage. I'm like, I'm glad I decided not to do that.
The IMAX footage is worth it.
6 minutes.
It is entirely for Galactus.
It's still only 6 minutes.
So that shot of Galactus looking down on the Statue of Liberty, the IMAX extends it so you see the entirety of his head.
That's kind of nice.
And every time it is a shot of Galactus, they extend it so that you can see.
It was kind of weird that he landed on Ellis Island. The first thing he did was rip up some grass and smell it.
I mean, that's just like
It's just weird. I didn't not like it. It was just kind of odd that they spent time on that.
He's getting the smell of what he's about to eat.
Yeah, he's getting the appetizer before the main course.
No, that's the thing that that's the thing I've seen in adventure movies before, where like they get a sniff of the ground and see what they're working with, or get the scent or whatever.
It's just funny the scale that Galactus operates at, where most people just like rub it between their fingers. He picks up a tree.
Yeah, I think that's why they did it. It was really.
Or he puts his hand on top of a building to help himself out of the Hudson River.
What I think is the other thing I wanted to talk about was Galactus, because the way they do Galactus in this movie is insane. The fact that it is mostly practical effects for Galactus is
some
so
CG
cool.
for some of the extra marks on his face and stuff, but
not even the marks on his face. It's really mostly for the eyes. But the fact that they shot it and then composited it similar to how Godzilla used to do, I think was so smart and so cool. Our boy's got limbs now.
He's not a cloud, thank God.
He's no longer
but ironically enough, because there's only one Galactus in the multiverse, both of those Galactuses are the same.
I mean,
Galactus shows up in Lego Marvel Superheroes. That's the same Galactus we got in this film. I mean, that's just the way Galactus is.
Yes. True. I mean, we have a thing, right, of different places can look different ways depending on what comic you're in, and I really hope they start to take that and use that. Like the DCU, it's really hard not to compare this movie to Superman right now.
I mean, they came out 2 weeks apart. We knew this was going to happen.
Which is a
and for me,
fantastic doubleheader.
Superman's a better movie.
It's funny. I think I like Fantastic Four more.
I need to see them
Superman
both
is a
again,
better
but I
movie.
think right now I like Superman more.
Yeah, again, hear me. Superman is a better movie, but I like Fantastic Four more. And I think that's just because I have a longer history with the Fantastic Four.
That's entirely fair.
But everything with like how they do it, and one of the things they were talking about with the DCU is that like every movie is going to look different. It is going to have its own style. I really hope that Marvel takes that to heart. And it seems like they might. They took a lot of notes from Superman and the success of Superman. I do think Superman doing very well is a rising tide lifts all boats.
I would entirely agree with you there, and I do think with Feige having said that Secret Wars will act as sort of a soft reboot for some characters and some stories in this world, which nailed it.
I have concerns, but
I have concerns, but I think that also is what opens up the opportunity to do what you're suggesting and have these different styles, these different motifs, and bringing different palettes and stories and storytelling mechanisms to the MCU post Secret Wars. So I do think that, like you're saying, I think they've taken to heart what James Gunn has started building with the DCU. And if Galactus can get this kind of glow up, I really hope that Parallax gets something similar, because you could give me a really good version of Parallax with Kyle Chandler playing Hal Jordan, knowing where Hal Jordan goes in the comics. I think that could be really, really
that
awesome.
sounds like where that's going with Lanterns.
I hope so.
That would be.
I really do. But that
also,
being,
by the way,
that being,
one more thing on the DC side before we go back to it. I'm still over the fact that we're getting a My Adventures with Green Lantern. A cartoon series in the same universe as My Adventures of Superman. And it's about my favorite Green Lantern, Jessica Cruz.
that should be fun.
Like, I'm so excited for that. I was so disappointed that we got nothing about it at Comic-Con.
Well, maybe we can do an off, like we did the one-offs of talking about Spider-Verse, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe when Superman drops on digital, we can do a little something off the beaten path.
Maybe we have opportunities to expand.
That's what I'm thinking.
So. I might make
last
you watch
thing
an animated series that's no way, shape, or form related to Disney that I just want to talk about. So.
I need to watch My Adventures with Superman still. Mole Man.
So good.
Paul Walter Hauser absolutely nailed it. The perfect casting and the perfect portrayal of this character 4 years into the tenure of the Fantastic Four in this universe. It was exactly what I wanted. No notes. I mean, we could have had a few more like his mindless subordinates or whatever when we were in Subterranea, but like I love the idea that there's just a bridge to Subterranea in Manhattan.
So here's what's great about that is we are getting that. Fantastic Four.
We got it in the comic tie-in.
Is having a comic tie-in that is all about that.
Yeah.
And what I love about this is that this comic tie-in we haven't had a comic tie-in for any MCU projects in a while now. But I love that this comic that is going to be coming out, I think this week, is the in-universe comic that we see being made at Timely Comics. Mm-hmm. And I really love that. I'm excited to see more of that story because I really like this character. I like how much of just a slimy asshole he is. The moment of him like just pestering Reed, and he's like butter me up and moves his hand to like butter his other hand was hilarious. The comedy in this movie, just in general, was so funny. I really loved him in that role.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting more of him just in the MCU in general. Again, the character of Mole Man, once we're post Secret Wars, could be someone that pops up as a Fantastic Four villain. It could be someone who pops up as someone who spends 15 minutes having Spider-Man deal with his bullshit. Any of the street level New York heroes, like there's a lot that can be done with him as sort of interstitial character that it would be great to see more of that. I don't know if we will. I'm hopeful that we will, but again,
I mean, all the
time
nods we
will
got
tell.
we got a lot of nods to a bunch of different Fantastic Four characters, like that opening montage, right, where they've referenced a bunch of people.
I mean, shout out to John Malkovich, who's got cut from the film, but they did reference his character both in
But
the
also
beginning and the
now it
end.
sounds like he was maybe in it for like maybe a couple seconds.
Oh yeah, it wasn't a big role.
I love also like all of the references to the other characters. Like we had like Wizard, Demon Man, or Dragon Man, Diablo, Puppet Master, all characters who could be their own movies in their own rights. I still want a Puppet Master movie that centers on Ben, but in the future, there's time for things. Genuinely, I really love this movie and this universe it's built, and I'm so happy that these characters exist. I have no idea where I'll eventually end up putting this in my Marvel rankings. I need to.
I gotta get
up
back to
with
that
it.
at some point.
Well, we need to update it because we're going to do an episode on it at some point.
Yeah, I'd like to do it after this drops on Disney Plus, so at least I can get another rewatch. I mean, maybe we can time it with the Plus or something.
Yeah, I think that's probably smart because I still need a rewatch of Thunderbolts before I add it to the list.
Yeah,
And
me too.
That's not on Disney Plus yet. which
Should
is
be
insane.
next month.
They said late July, early August.
Well, because it dropped on digital a few weeks ago, and it's usually about 4 to 6 weeks after digital.
Yeah, I was literally just talking about this with my little brother because he called me
Yeah.
up and was like, hey,
Also,
what's the-
just shout out to Disney. I don't know if they did this in the U.S., but in Canada, Fantastic Four: World's Greatest Heroes dropped on Disney Plus this week.
I own that cartoon physically.
You scare me sometimes. You know that?
Look, remember what I talked about last episode of that box set?
Yeah.
It's in that box set. Also, I love
Yeah.
that cartoon. Yeah, I think we've run through all of the things. I want to talk into theory mode a little bit with this post-credit scene of us seeing Robert Downey Jr.'s Doom. Him having the mask off and Franklin touching his face. Which, if you know Doom, is utterly insane.
Franklin is fixing his face in that scene.
No way.
1,000%.
Absolutely not. Doom as a character will never let anyone fix his face unless it's him.
I don't think he's given a choice when a cosmic being touches his face.
Yeah, but he actively has to take the mask off to let that happen.
Yeah. So I think he let it happen.
I think we're in some body swapping territory in this.
Potentially, yeah.
So roughly around the launch, Robert Downey Jr. had tweeted or posted, I think Instagram, a photo of like morning reading or some shit.
He was reading Jeremy Renner's book, and he had the CGI markers on his face.
No, not that. This is a separate post where he had
Okay.
posted a picture of a cover of West Coast Avengers.
Oh, I did see that one, yeah.
And it's the cover. The cover is mostly Doom, but that is a story where Doctor Doom body swaps to look like Tony. And I think we are going to get. This is just theory. I do think he needs Franklin for something. I think ultimately he wants Franklin to use the power cosmic to create his universe.
Yeah, I do think that he's kidnapping Franklin here because he has to take him to 616, as that is the center of the multiverse, and that is where his universe needs to be created from. With the incursions and everything that he's been tracking, everything leads to 616. So he takes him there, kidnaps him, and then we get the Fantastic Four following him to that universe.
Yeah, and I think he is. Very
I do think this
specifically
shot,
using,
and I think this shot and the post-credit scene in Thunderbolts are both filmed by the Russo brothers and both happen within the first 30 minutes of Doomsday.
I would probably agree with that. With a lot of this, like it's been confirmed as Doom, but the musical track for that scene is Doom ?
So the body swap theory, I think, can make a lot of sense.
I think that it is. I don't think that Robert Downey Jr. is our main Doom. I think that he is.
No,
using
I don't
this
either.
face-
I don't think he is playing Doom post Secret Wars.
I think that he is using this face to gain favor in 616. I think he's using it so that people go and look
Will
at
inherently
his-
trust him.
Yeah, and they'll trust him and think that it is a Tony from another universe. or someone that is replacing old I think with that, I think Tony Stark was the anchor being of 616.
I do as well, and I do think that's what's
And I think
ultimately
that they're
going to
going to play for
lead
that.
to the death of the multiverse.
And we see a bunch of stuff like we have this picture from set of like Doom standing over Deadpool. And I think that's what will lead all of that and have this big collision moment, all these collisions. Like, I think that's
Doom's just going to be on a warpath to kill anchor beings to lead to to accelerate the death of the multiverse so that he can create.
exactly. I don't think Deadpool or Wolverine survive the opening moments of this movie. I think
Wolverine, I think, could. I do think they probably want Hugh Jackman at the end of Star Wars, and then, X-Men being an anchor of the next phase of the MCU. They will at that point just abandon everything and recast it.
I think we get Hugh Jackman. I think if we get Hugh Jackman, it could be a separate Hugh Jackman. They've showed so many. We have our pick of the list.
That's true. I do think it'll be the same one, and he's on the vendetta to
But
avenge.
in the same way of I think, and this is going even outside of what we've seen, speculatory. I think that the Russo brothers are going to rehash a lot of what they did for the styling of
Endgame?
Endgame, not Endgame, for Infinity War. For the first half.
Okay, yeah.
And I
Split
think
up into multiple teams to try and stop Doom's plot of traversing the multiverse to kill anchor beings or some shit.
No, I think that's where we start. I think we start with him killing anchor beings.
Yeah, I could see the opening scene being he kills Ryan Reynolds.
Like I think the opening is like in the same way that the opening is Thanos of Infinity War is Thanos killing all these Asgardians and killing Loki. It's Doom destroying these multiverses and killing someone we know.
All roads lead to Loki.
I mean, we know Tom Hiddleston's in this.
There is going to be some shenanigans around Yggdrasil and the way that he's holding the multiverse together. Maybe that's where it starts. Maybe that's where it ultimately ends at the end of Doomsday, leading into Secret Wars. I don't know, and I'm really excited to theorize more with you and our audience. Drop some comments in the YouTubes. Let us know what your theories are going forward. And I just want these movies to be here now. I know they're not, and that's fine.
We gotta wait
Take
till
your
December
time,
of next.
make them right. But yeah, it's gonna be a long.
Yeah, it's crazy. Our next movie is Spider-Man.
Yeah, which I'm kind of surprised we're getting that before.
We weren't supposed to.
I know we weren't.
Hey, I'm here for the delays. Give them the time they need to
Make it
them
right.
good.
Yep.
And in the meantime,
I'm with you there.
We have the shows to hold us over.
Eyes of Wakanda comes out this week.
We are going to be on a delay to talk about Eyes of Wakanda, but we will be
Yeah.
talking about it. Just for the sake of some YouTube shenanigans and how we have things planned.
We got some catching up to do and some stuff to do behind the scenes.
Yeah. Keep an eye out. Something really, really cool is about to happen with us.
Can
We
confirm.
got that.
Pretty cool.
We got Marvel Zombies. We got Daredevil.
Wonder Man.
2, Wonder Man, The Punisher special presentation.
One shot that they still haven't officially announced that we're probably going to get this year or early next year.
Punisher?
Yeah.
I thought we were presuming that was early next year, and it was going to release alongside.
I'm presuming it just because we have Wonder Man for December. I think if we were going to get Punisher this year, it was earlier, and I don't think they're filming it now.
Yeah, we did get
After
some
wrapping Daredevil season 2, it's probably next year.
I think
But
Punisher
it's probably low VFX. It could likely be something they turn around pretty quickly.
I was gonna say, if they're doing VFX, it's likely blood splatter, this kind of stuff. So
Which I'm sure they try to do as much of that practically as they could.
Yeah, those Hollywood blood packets are insane. But yeah,
The technology's only gotten better over the years.
we still have plenty of MCU to hold us over until then. And obviously, we can go back and rewatch movies as much as we like, which I know we'll probably end up.
Which we're going to have to do if we're going to do an episode re-ranking the MCU and arguing about it for 4.5 hours.
Yeah,
Can't wait.
it's going to be a fun one. I have an idea for it of how.
Are we including television?
That's a conversation to be had.
Okay.
Anyways, folks, that's
If
all
we
the
are, I
things-
have to start now because the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. rewatch could take a while.
You don't have. To,
And I really don't want to watch Inhumans.
You don't have to do those.
Yes, you do. They're in the
They're
MCU. They're canon to the MCU.
The first season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is canon to the MCU. Inhumans is not.
Yes, it is.
They actively wrote it out of the canon.
Nah, it's canon. We have to watch it.
No, we don't. Anyways, folks.
Are we getting Armor
Wars?
Wars at some point?
We have no idea. Armor Wars is just a good old question mark these days.
It's a movie now, right? I think, maybe.
Especially with, I guess we would theorize Riri, but Riri was going to be a big part of that, but maybe not anymore.
Yeah.
Anyways, folks, we will catch y'all next time. Of course, keep an eye on the YouTube channel for some pretty big announcements coming up soon. We will have plenty more for you, but that's all in the future. So until then, be good to each other and have a magical day.
Never has saying Excelsior felt more appropriate.